All right, Jason Rona back here at the Indoor National Series. We're here at the finals. We got Ty Tessman here, one of our guests that we've been interviewing here all weekend long. Ty, you're one of the top runners here on the series all year. You've ran in, this will be your third race. Talk to us a little bit about your experience on the Indoor National Series and why you want to come out with your dad and X-Ray and a couple guys, and just explain how things are going and what you've been learning.
Okay. It's the first time I've run this series, and it's been pretty cool. It's cool going to all these tracks that usually we don't get to go to. The National sometimes picks certain venues, and we just kind of get to there. And out east, it seems a little bit. We don't go out east as much as probably we should, but it's pretty cool to go out to these tracks and kind of get to know some people, make some friends, and display our products. And but it's been going really good, I think. We went to Tacoma and had a really good result there. It didn't start off super hot, but it ended in pretty good. So had some really good luck at Hobby Action also, but kind of been having luck there the whole up until the Nationals really. But yeah, just trying to get a good solid point in the final and see where we can end up.
Yeah, I mean, you and your dad have been coming out. I mean, you come out, you got some X-Ray guys coming with you here and there. You guys seems like you do a little team photo, kind of get the guys together. Can you explain why maybe you do that and, kind of take some photos with the team and just kind of showing that the X-Ray brand's out there and what's going on with them, right?
Yeah, we're just trying to kind of build X-Ray in the off-road scene. It's kind of been... it hasn't really been around, so we're just trying to get that started and trying to get these guys the locals at the races if we go to, they're trying to get them included, the local team guys. Just trying to make a presence for X-Ray really and build up the off-road team, and I think it's been going really good. We've been kind of making a lot of headway, and next year should be really good as also. Picked up some more guys, so I think we're a really strong team.
Good. I mean, we just came off the World Championships. Obviously, you guys are one of the favorites at every type of race that you go to, but you ran extremely well, got the TQ, finished up in the main, you got second overall. What are some of your thoughts of being in Australia and kind of how things went there and what was the general feel, and were you guys satisfied with the experience?
So we didn't really know what to expect. We heard a lot of different things going into it, how the track was going to be, so we kind of had to just prepare for really everything we could. So, but overall, it's a little bit disappointing, but it's its second. But I obviously always want to win, and anything less than that is disappointing. But it's still a really good finish for X-Ray. It's their biggest or their best finish at a 8-Skill Worlds, so that's an accomplishment, and they're really happy how everything went. But it's a good experience. We still learned some stuff and just making friends and representing our company well. So it's an experience, and we learned some stuff from it too.
I mean, if you go back several worlds already, going back to maybe we had Argentina, and I can't remember exactly when you started your run, but I mean, you've been on the podium now for the last 3 or 4 worlds. Mayfield's like, this guy's got an average finish of like second place in this race. He's said that after in Australia. What's it like? You're right there at the top every time. You got the TQ and win in Italy, winning the whole thing. But what's it been like kind of going through so many years here and you're right there at the top the whole time?
It's been pretty good. It usually we always set out to do our best, and getting second in Argentina was a little bit. It was the best I'd done at the Worlds, so it was kind of bittersweet. I was so close to winning. I was only like 12 seconds behind him at the end, starting first on the grid. But the Worlds are just crazy. You never really know what you're going to get up until even the whole race, and then the final you never really know either. So it's really just a battle, and it's a really hard thing to win. That's why hasn't been that many repeaters, or if ever there's been. So it's the toughest race, but it's probably the one that's most. It's the reason that's why it's the most prestigious. But to be on the podium 4 years or four times really it's a pretty good accomplishment either way. But it's still, I would have liked to have won, but I guess you can't always win them. But
Yeah, I mean, you go back and sometimes I'm sure, for me, sometimes I look back at some of the races I've run personally, and you think about the ones you're like that you should have did better at, and then sometimes you don't think about the successful ones, and sometimes you're like, man, that one I kind of gave away, or that one that should have been mine. And I mean, do you think about that stuff at all in those type of events, or are you just kind of like, I'm just keep going forward? 2 years from now, or there's an electric worlds next year, do you just think about those, or what's the mindset there?
Usually if I make a mistake or something, or if we've done something in the past that hasn't worked out, try to remember those mistakes. But as soon as the race is over, try to focus on the next one and don't dwell on the bad stuff that happened. Just try to learn from the mistakes as best I can, and then just move forward, because if you dwell on the past, it's hard to go forward. So
yeah,
try to keep positive.
So going back to the electric side of things, I mean, because obviously you're one of the guys that run everything. You've run everything from e-buggy, you've ran e-truggy. I mean, you've ran all the cars throughout the year, like a couple of the other guys here in the U.S. And what's been your favorite class to run the last several years? I mean, I'm pretty sure you like nitro buggy, but I mean, you got all these other classes too. Are there any that are creeping up and maybe becoming your favorite?
I would say nitro buggy is my favorite, but probably second is two-wheel drive buggy, just because it's one of the hardest cars to race or to drive, and one of the most prestigious to win. It just feels like more of an accomplishment when you can win one of the more difficult classes, because the top guys are in it, and you know that it's something that not a lot of people have done, and it feels like a bigger accomplishment, even though it's the same guys racing it, and they're all at the same level, and every race pretty much there's 2 or 3 or more guys that are racing consistently. So I've raced a lot of vehicles, but probably those two are the ones that stand out.
So, you mentioned earlier that, Extra trying to build that brand up here in the U.S. You kind of kicked it off a couple years ago when you started running for them. I mean, you took the sweep, at the Nationals a couple years ago at Mimi's. This year you're running well also at that same track at Hobby Action. You mentioned earlier the Nationals is a little bit more of a struggle for whatever reason. Sometimes that happens. But, I mean, you've had a great run with the cars so far in 10 scale, right?
Yeah, I think X-Ray is really happy with the results. The Nationals was a bit of a disappointment, but as far as their cars have come a long way, I think, especially the two-wheel drive, and we're still making headway. But it's really good to be able to make some progress and success with the cars, and it makes X-Ray happy, it makes all my other sponsors happy, so it's been really positive, I think.
So as we look forward, to the next year here, tell us about where, the next focus is after this event, what you're looking forward to, and maybe where people are going to see you. They could come out, race with you, or be involved with you at one of these races.
We're definitely going to focus on 10th scale next year because it's a World's year. Maybe do some more Eastern races, like Eastern U.S. races, because we don't usually get to go out to those as much as we probably should. But basically, we have the nitro races along with through the year, but our main focus is probably going to be 10th scale, and then try to get our cars even better than they are, and just don't settle for anything. Just keep always striving for better, and then we'll see what it looks like at the end of the year.
And then, obviously you mentioned it's a World's year for 10 scale. Kind of a big Worlds in a sense where, the location changed now. It was going to be in France. Now we're going to be at the X-Ray facility in a sense. Kind of pushes a little focus you guys' way. Although, we've seen in the past that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's still, come race time, it still seems like the same guys are up there regardless of the location. But what are you looking forward to, or what do you anticipate going into that event? A lot of people ask me, but you've been there, you've ran. What are you looking forward to, or what do you anticipate, it being like?
I've been there, and it was. I only ran a little bit on it. It's not like I was running a bunch, but I don't think they know what they're going to do for a surface yet. They're still trying to decide, so I really have no expectation of how it's going to go. But more than likely, I'll probably go over for a test or something, or they'll have the warm-up race. But I know a lot of people are going to be saying, I think, that we have the advantage because it's in our factory, but I don't know. I think just like you said before, the top guys are going to be there no matter what, and it should be a good race. Hopefully, this facility is really cool, so it should be really good for that. It's cheap over there, so it should be good for the racers and companies. So it should be a really good Worlds, I think.
And then, as we get into, like you said, the beginning of the season here, we got some Nitro stuff. Are you guys planning on hitting the Nitro Challenge, the Silver State? What's the Nitro schedule looking like?
It's pretty busy. I think we have the Nitro Challenges first, then I think Silver State, then probably a couple California races. Maybe we're going to try to do some Eastern Nitro races as well, and then the Nationals obviously. And I haven't really planned out too far in advance, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us here. Give a shout out to all your sponsors here that that help you along the way, support the racing, and you just might want to thank anybody at home.
Okay. I'd like to thank X-Ray, RC America, Proline, Hobby Wing. Got, let me look at my shirt. A-Main Hobbies, Hoodie, Avid, Lunsford, Darkside Paints, ProTech, and if I've forgotten anybody, sorry, but just thank my parents for all their support, and my sister for doing my website, and then most importantly, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
All right, well, that's Ty Tessman, one of the top drivers in the world. He's here at the Indoor National Series, one of the favorites this weekend. He's one of the tops no matter where we go, second at the Worlds. He thinks it's a disappointment. I think it's one of the best accomplishments there is, but congrats. Thanks again, and we'll see you out on the track, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.